make me itch. You burn my skin. Still you I want to hold. You're so sick, you make me itch. I toss and I turn and my fingers twitch. The thought of you, it burns my skin to the bone. And still you I want to hold. Take it back, too much to unpack. The hate in your head and heart that you lack. The thought of you, it burns my skin to the bone. And I can't leave you alone. You're so sick, you're selfish, it's endless. Still you I want to hold. I miss how we used to be weightless. And I can't leave you alone.
Hello guys, hello. Welcome to another installment of Touchline Talk at 2 p.m. This time on a Friday. Every single week on Tuesdays and Fridays. We know the drill by now. Hello from. What do I want to discuss today? Well, you'll see in the thumbnail that there is Snipan in it. No idea how to pronounce his name. Apologies. And with that, I sort of wanted to have a wider discussion. We can briefly touch on Naipan as well if we want to. If anyone knows about him, then please do let me know. But I want to sort of chat about him within the context of Manchester City's rebuild generally, and why it's, in my view, going so well. And it's not a hidden thing of why it's going well. Like, we all know, we have touched on it, but it's not necessarily something that we've really touched upon in as much detail. So maybe it's something that I want to chat about today. As you're entering the stream, please leave a like on the video. It is free and it does really help. Shout out, by the way, to everyone who has been coming to the Twitch streams recently. We've been having a great time playing Red Dead Redemption 2. So if you want to come over and watch me be really shit at a video game and watch hilarity ensue when horses kick passers-by to death randomly, then click that link, come follow the Twitch, and I stream there every single Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evening. No blue lights today, Yoshkov, because it's weird muggy weather right now in Manchester, so it's sunny enough. I've got my window open, I've got the blinds open, I don't want to put all my lights on because it's bare hot, so I just can't be bothered putting all the lights on. So we're having a more chilled out environment today. So no signs on, less lights, natural light. Yeah, get that vitamin D. Get the vitamin D on my face. I mean, my favourite character is probably Lenny, I would say. Makalo, I want to see you at the streams, mate. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evenings, every single week. Right, let's have a chat now, shall we? About what do I mean by that, you know, because what have I titled this stream? The crucial element of Man City's rebuild. That's what I've titled the stream. Now, I've got an Excel spreadsheet in front of me. I haven't planned this, so I'm not going to share it with you because it's just a blank spreadsheet by now. But what I want us to do is to sort of put into perspective where we were at the start of the season, where we were at in Jan, why it still wasn't quite enough, where we will be at next season as well. This isn't new information. We've touched on this many times. How many times have I said, and indeed we've all said in the chat, that the age profiles, whatever term you want to say, the age profiles are not good at City, or rather they weren't good at the start of the season. What does that even mean, an age profile? That sounds like a really piffy term, and indeed it is. I didn't need to say it like that. I didn't even need to say it like that. I could have just said the ages, but I'm an arse. I like to overcomplicate things, apparently, according to me, just then. There is nothing wrong with having young players. There is nothing wrong with having a few old players. You know, two or three players who are like, you know, over 32 years old, let's say. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a couple of 30-year-olds in there as well. And once again, this isn't new information. We've touched on this many times, us lot together. The problem that we identified this season, last season, sorry. Yeah, oh God, we can touch on what Walker's comments were later. Christ almighty. We can touch on Walker later, because we'll be bringing him into this. But the problem has been that, and the way I've described it is, throughout last season, was there were not enough players in their prime years at City. If it's buffering for you, refresh. It's fine on my end. There were not enough players in their prime years at City, especially with Rodri out of the equation. If we also take out unfit players, like John Stones, then in respect to the players who are, 20... I know that players peak and that their prime is at different times, but in general, from a physical perspective, generally speaking, most footballers hit their prime, their physical peak, from around 27 through to 29, that sort of range. You can go 26 through to 30 if you want, but in general, it's around there. Your late 20s, basically. That's when you peak as an athlete if you're a footballer, generally speaking. Generally speaking. Some peak earlier, some peak later, but generally. When Rodri when Rodri's knees left him, who did we actually have? Who was someone that you could call on to be a fit player? Because technically Stones would have been here as well, maybe even Ake. It was basically only Ruben Diaz at the start of the season. And I'm also saying that you got to be of a requisite quality level as well, because I think Nunes also counts, but no disrespect to Nunes, he's not really good enough, is he? So really, through over the past however many years, we've gone from having players who are totally in their prime and in their groove, hence why we get to winning titles and winning trebles, etc., to a state where everyone is either past it or they are inexperienced and are a prospect sort of player. As I say, it was only really Diaz last season, at the start of the season anyway. You had players based on averages, it probably balanced out as being, late 20s. In fact, I believe our squad was an average age of around 27, 28. And I must say, that's a perfect example, isn't it? 16, 17, we had one of the oldest squads in the league. Our fullback age, the average was, I think, 32, average, because we had Sanya, Clichy, Kolarov, and Zabaleta. Yeah, Zabaleta was still there. So you got players who are 31, 32, 33, 34, etc., etc., etc. And it was a similar vibe then. It's the exact same thing here. This time the problem has also been at fullback, because we haven't had fullbacks, but the main issue, age-wise, has mainly been the midfield. We all know that. The players who could maybe come in to provide that youthful rejuvenation are all young. Players like Savio, players like Doku, even players who are more experienced are still technically towards that younger end. Haaland and Foden started the season at 24. Gvardiol, a wonderful player, he's still only 23, I believe. So we're dealing with not an optimal age situation, the squad, at the start of the season. It helped in Jan when we offloaded Walker and we brought in, Marmoush, who was a player in his prime. He's 26, is he? So he does probably fall into that category on the lower end of it, but he's still in there. Kusanov maybe less so, because he's still a youthful player, but Marmoush is maybe the only one. Nico getting there a little bit. Hopefully what we're going to see is, and that's what I was going to do, I was going to try to provide numbers. Right, so how old was Walker at the start of the season? This is what I sort of want to do and what I want to get on with. I sort of as I say, I want to put it into perspective of how old these players were, and then we can get on to where we're going to get to. So Walker is now, I think he was 34, was he? Sorry, Dave, I am saying that. I apologise. So you got Walker, who was 34 at the start of the season. We have Ruben Diaz. He was 27 at the start of the season. 27, yes. So he's one of the prime candidates, isn't he? We have John Stones, who I think was 28 or 29. No, never mind. He was. Oh wow, he's older than I thought. He was 30. Okay, I thought he may have been 29. My bad. So he's 30 and also not fit anyway. We've had Howard Ake. Is Ake the one who's 29? I'm sure there's a centre back at City who's 29. Yes, he started the season at 29 as well. As my right key falls off, excuse me. We had Akanji. How old's Akanji? He started the season as... Yes, now his birthday. Yes, he's also 29. He was also 29 at the start of the season. Gavardiol, another one. But he was, to be fair, he was quite young, only 22. Gavardiol. So I'm only including defenders here. I'm not including players who can play at the back. I'm only including defenders, really. So what is that? Walker, Diaz, Stones, Ake, Akanji, Gavardiol. I don't think I've missed anyone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That seems about right. So what is that? If we add them all together, that gets us 171. And then if we divide, 171 divided by 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. So the average age is, to be fair, it's not too bad. It's 28.5. But once again, a lot of the heavy lifting there is Gavardiol. A lot of the heavy lifting there is Gavardiol only being 22. So that average age is 28.5. And again, that might sound all right, but it's once again the fact that there's too many people sort of 30 and over. Even in the 20s, there's 2 that are 29. There's only 1 that's like 22. There's no like 24, 25, 26s in there. So that's a bit of a shame. Now, compare it to what we had come Jan. Walker left, but Kusanov came in. Kusanov, I believe, came in 20 years old. Thank you, Thunder. I'd love that from you. I'm not going to include Hayes just because I'm not yet convinced that he might even be like a player with us next season. I don't know if that's a fair thing to say, but just for the purposes of this, I'm not even going to include Hayes. So basically what City did was they swapped out Walker for Kusanov, right? That now turns into 157. And now the average age is 26 in the defence. And that's just Jan. So with just the winter window, and that's only one area of the pitch as well. So just in one area of the pitch, in just one window, City have managed to reduce the average age of the defence, the back line, by 2.5. How old's Nori? He's also not old, is he? He's still relatively young, isn't he? He's another one who's coming in. He is only 24 years old. Beautiful. So if we replicate that there, and let's say Stones goes. Let's say Stones goes, for example. Because I think that's quite realistic, isn't it? Now, we add all those numbers together. We get 151, so it's slightly down. It might not be exact. And no, never mind. Now the average age has been brought down again. So now, between Kusanov, Diaz, Nori, Ake, Akanji, and Gavardiol, within the space of a year, less than a year actually, City have managed to move the average age profile from 28.5 down to 25 in the defence, which is quite good. And there's also a better variety of defenders in there. There's a 22-year-old in there. There's a 24-year-old in there. There's a 20-year-old in there. But you've still got the more experienced players. You've got a 27-year-old in there. You've got a couple of 29-year-olds in there. That, as a balance, is far more ideal. And that, as I say, that's only the defensive area of the pitch. And this is going back to Naipan for a moment. This is what I meant about... it's good that City are bringing in these young prospects. You always want to have every single age profile at your squad, whether they're playing for you or not. You always want a couple of senior heads there. There's no problem with having a couple of older players. But you also want players in their prime years. You want players who are coming into their prime years. You want players who are young and prospects. And then you want players who are still developing and teenagers and need minutes to grow and develop, out on loan or just get a few minutes every single now and then. So by introducing players like Naipan and players like Echeverry, maybe Hayes, maybe Barr as well, City is sort of covering that area of the pitch. You've got... Diaz, come on, mate. that's one example. Let's not be disingenuous here. The vast majority of well-built squads have every single age profile at their disposal. Let's not be silly here. City now have every single one, seemingly, if they bring the players that we want them to bring into, in addition to the ones we have brought in. We've got the teenagers, as I say, Echeverry, Naipan, Pace, Bar. You've got the young players who can still start, but are still technically prospects, i.e., Savio, Doku, Kusanov, etc., etc. You've got the players begin to enter their prime year, so they haven't quite hit the physical prime yet, but they're entering those years. Players like Foden and Erling Haaland. Thereafter, you've got the players who are absolutely in their prime years, and they've sort of like peaked in a way from a physical perspective. Ruben Diaz, Rodri, Ake if he stays. And then you've got, we'll see what happens. Maybe there will only end up being, one senior player here, but that might be like a Kovacic, or if Gundogan stays, or if Bernardo stays, whatever, that sort of thing. Edison, I guess, technically would also count as that as well, wouldn't he? So I'm just very happy with how City are going about this rebuild. It's not just about bringing in players, it's also about, and how good they are, it's also about understanding what they can offer from an age perspective. And there's still lots of work that needs to be done. We know that we need to be moving on Gundogan, and Bernardo, and Kovacic, yes, and De Bruyne, etc., etc., etc. Of course. But the players that we're bringing in are also, I didn't even touch on the players that we're bringing in. Aït-Nouri is a player who's going to be entering his prime because he's 24 years old. So that's a really nice player to add to that sort of like Foden Haaland bundle of player. Cherki, technically vastly more experienced, but still, he is, from an age perspective, technically one of the younger players and one of the prospects. He's only 21, isn't he? Reinders said it right that time. I'm a genius. Again, I know that he hasn't played that much football, but he's still technically, from a physical perspective, he's 27 years old. He's also in that perfect prime category as well. He can join, as I say, Rodri and Diaz and whatnot. So, Razza, to be fair, that's what this R stands for. This R stands for Rodrigo. Big up. And if we can bring in like Livramento, then he'd go into that young category, and it just helps the overall balance, as I say. So that's what I mean by sort of like, it's like a really crucial element to City's rebuilds. Now, it sounds really obvious. It's not just about bringing in young players, because City's doing more than just bringing in young players. It's more about bringing in players of a good quality, because again, it's more than that. It's about bringing in players of the correct quality, either now or in the future, to potentially develop, to bring down that average age across the entirety of the pitch. Once again, that's one example. Shall we do that with the midfield as well? So with the defence, we started the year with 28.5. Assuming that Stones goes, again, you can do a Kanji if you really want to, but if we say that, one of Stones, Akanji, or Ake leaves for Aït-Nouri, then that takes it down to 25, so that's another year. Let's have a look at the midfield now, because this might be the biggest change, to be fair. We've got Kovacic. How old was he at the start of the season? Oh, and actually, that's actually even better, because I didn't even add the years on. So actually, the age profile's actually been brought down even more. So I've actually made an error there. Thank you, Denton, for your super chat. I'll come to that in a moment. That's very kind of you. Un momento. Right, so Kova. You guys can help me with the ages if you'd like as well. If I make an error, please let me know. Kova was 30 at the start of the season. He's now 31 at the end of it. Gundogan, was he 34 at the start of the season? Or was he 33? He was 33 at the start, and now he's 34. Gundogan was 34, and now he's 33. Gundogan. Sorry, no, wait. Opposite. He was 33, now he's 34. He's managed to do reverse aging. Oh, what a genius. A genius footballer. Truly, truly genius footballer. Bernardo Silva was... when did the season start? Because he's an awkward one. 10th of August. I feel like he probably started the season as... Let's say he started at... I'm just going to do 1331 just because it's easy for my brain. Bernardo 31. Thank you very much, Denton. Oh, you didn't even send anything. You just sent a super chat. Thank you, Denton. Really appreciate that, mate. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Hope you're enjoying your perks as a member. Rinder's bonus video will be dropping this week along with the big analysis video. Who else? I guess technically Rodri. What are the midfielders am I missing, chaps? I've got Kova, Gundogan, Bernardo, Rodri. Who else? I'm missing. I haven't got to the more attacking midfielders yet, like Foden and Cherki. So he started the year 27. He's now 28. Or is he just turned? Oh no, he's just about to turn 29. So he started 28. He's just about to turn 29. That's fine. Foden was 24. Now he's 25. Cherki obviously wasn't in the squad then. He's now 21, I believe. Please correct me if I'm wrong there, guys. Calvin Phillips, shut up. Nico, yeah. Nico G. I think he's 23. I believe. Let me just double check. Of course, Reinders as well. How could I forget? Nico Gonzalez. 23. Cool. So he's 23. Nico Reinders is 27. Sorry, my voice is going. No to Rodrigo. Yeah, big up. Does Reinders have Xavi type potential? Be real? No. But I'm more excited about Reinders than Cherki. Oh yeah, KDB, of course. Oh my god, I nearly forgot the king. Was he 33 or 34? I guess he was technically... No. I thought it was 33 at the start, turned 34, but then it was 33. Okay, so De Bruyne was... No, he wasn't 22, he was 33. I guess technically Bob, but I think he's going to play more out wide, so I'm not going to categorise him as a midfielder for the purposes of this. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, is he 26? Reinders. My bad. Oh, shoot. I'm a naughty boy. But it's in July, so he'll start the season 27, so I'm going to keep him at 27. Cafunes. I know I didn't count him earlier, but I think he is technically a defender, so I probably should have added Nunes to the defence. But he wouldn't change I don't think he changed the average anyway. So have I missed it? So we started the season with, again, just for the purpose... Oh, Lewis, I guess, technically. Rico Lewis is also a midfielder. Rico, again, no, he's played at right back a lot, but he is a midfielder as far as I'm concerned. Rico. He started at 19, he's now 20. O'Reilly, yeah, well, again, even though I think O'Reilly will mainly be playing at defence, I'll include him because I think he'll get some minutes in the midfield. You're absolutely right, chaps. Nico and Chapettes. Nico O'Reilly. He was 19, now he's 20. Okay, that's good. O'Reilly, whoa, O'Reilly, whoa. He comes from Manchester. Fucking murder you. Grealish is gone. Hopefully so. Yeah, I think I'm going to categorize Grealish as more of a winger. Yeah, definitely. So I've got Kova, Gundo, Bernardo, Rodri, Foden, De Bruyne, Lewis, O'Reilly. Have I missed any midfield names there for what we started? And also including Jan. I've got Rico Lewis here. Yeah. Have I missed anyone else? I don't think I have. So if we're taking that, and how many players is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. To be fair, this might not be as bad as I thought because we have included a lot of young players here. Yeah, to be fair, officially the average age is only 27, but we have included O'Reilly who's 19 and Lewis is 19. So that's reasonable. It's reasonable. But of course, that's being, once again, the balance isn't there. You've got players who are 30 plus in Kova, Gundo, Bernardo, KDB. You've got babies in Lewis and O'Reilly. You've got Foden, who at the start of the season wasn't in his prime category. The only one really in their prime that we've established of like 26 through to 29 was, is Rodri, who got injured. First of all, AO, I don't owe you anything because this content's free. But secondly, Reinders is going to be dropping end of this week. Shoki will be by the end of next week. And hopefully, I know if I can squeeze it in. Don't worry. Good things come to those who wait. I will never, ever be the first. Sorry, what am I trying to say here? And this is probably why I'm a bad content creator. I will never, ever be the first because I refuse to rush. But I do pride myself on trying to be the best. So, in respect of the City analysis stuff. So, tranquilo, it will come, but I'm not going to rush it. I'm not going to rush it because I want it to be good. I want it to be good enough. Also, I've changed my script a couple of times with Reinders. I've changed my mind on him a little bit. So I had to change the script after I watched him a bit more. Right, so, wait, how has it gone? Oh, because there's more players. Right, so, Musty, I hate you. Now, I think Gundogan's gone, right? Is it, let's say, I think it's safe to say that Gundogan goes. I think that's safe to say. We know that De Bruyne has gone. I think that also one of Kova or Bernardo will go. Probably more likely Bernardo because Kova's been injured, hasn't he? So it's going to be hard to shift him. But I do think it's likely that Bernardo goes. So I'm going to also exclude him. So this is maybe wishful thinking, but let's say that City sell, or get rid of rather, Gundogan and Bernardo. Let's say that happens. And of course, again, De Bruyne's gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I've not actually included Echeverri in this either. This is without even including Echeverri and Naipan, who might go out on loan anyway. Now City's average age is 24.5 in the midfield. So with those outgoings and those incomings, City will have reduced the average age by nearly 3 years. I mean, if you're rounding, 3 years. From 27, if we're doing whole integers here, and round, you'd have to round up, wouldn't you? Well, who cares? From 27 down to 24. And again, this isn't... Oh yeah, McAtee. I guess I'm including McAtee. I can't be bothered. He's much of a muchness anyway. So... City have been able to reduce the midfield age by 3, and as I say, that's not even including Echeverri or Naipan. If I did include them, it would be even lower. It might be even closer to 23. And again, the amount of the balance is there once again. You've got the younger players in Lewis and O'Reilly. You have the players who are more sort of entering their prime, like whether it's a Nico G or a Foden. You've got, and Shirky as well, who's another younger player. You've got the players who are more in their prime years. Rodri, of course, but also Reinders is in there as well. And then you've got the players who are not past it, but are more experienced, i.e. Kovacic as well. So that balance is a lot nicer. Not only is the age profile brought down, it's also just nicer generally as well. This is going to be the key to Manchester City's long-term success. And this is going to be how they... this sounds really stupid, but this is ultimately how you rebuild. It's not just about bringing in young players. You've got to bring in the right age of player as well. This isn't Football Manager. You can't just bring in a whole load of young players. If you want to win now, sometimes you need a player in their prime years, like a Reinders, for example. Just immediately come in, improve the midfield, be a starter from day one. That's exactly what City need. Let's maybe put that into more perspective. For fun, let's add Echeverri. Let's add Echeverri. Let's not add Naipan as well. Echeverri's 19. Yeah. Does that change anything? That turns it to 23.8 from 24.5 if we were to do that. It might get even better. City might bring in Morgan Gibbs-White, who is another player who's 25 years old, so he would once again bring that average down as well. if he's replacing, like, you know, Bernardo, Kovacic, Gundogan, whoever it is. This is really good. And it's really good to see that City are absolutely approaching this the correct way. Once again, it's not new information. We all knew this at the start of the season, that the ages were all over the shop, and now we're actually bringing in the players of the requisite age. Naipan, Echimesi. I don't know much about him. Not going to lie to you. I haven't watched him. I haven't watched Rosenborg? I haven't watched a single minute of them. Not going to lie. I know False Winger on Twitter rates him, so shout out False Winger. Go follow him on Twitter if you haven't already done so. Yeah, I like his content, so you might, I don't fucking know, you might like it. Speaking of liking, if you've been watching for this long and you haven't liked the video, that's a bit weird. Not trying to pass judgment. A bit weird though, so you might want to ratify that. I don't know. Anyway, Naipan. As I say, no, very exactly Elder. That's how I know him as well. He's a Football Manager wonder kid, isn't he? He's a Football Manager wonder kid. We love to see it. I've been told that he is like an 8-10 sort of hybrid player. Now I don't know what that means to because there is a youth player at City, Mukasa. Divine Mukasa, I believe. I'm probably butchering his name. I believe. Yeah, False Winger's wrong on a lot of things as well, to be fair, but he's also good on a lot of things as well. Now, I don't know what that would do in respect of his development, because I don't know what his path is. I don't know what his pathway is like. I don't know if he's going to be good enough. But that might introduce an obstacle there. I don't know. But either way, based on the fee, and I tweeted this, based on the fee, was around 10 million quid or 50 million quid, whatever it is, for an Naipan, this seems like a pretty low-risk deal, because you either bring him in and loan him out, obviously, because there's no point of keeping him in the team this year. He's not going to get any game time. We need to think about, you know, bringing in. If we're going to do that, we need to try to give Echeverri some minutes. It's one or the other. You can't do both. I mean, preferably, I'd probably send both out on loan, to be fair. That's putting the fact and the emphasis. I need to shave. I do need to shave, to be fair. I'd probably like both of them to go out on loan, in fairness. But I would suspect that Naipan's going to be a player to go out on loan, whether that would be like to Leon, because allegedly part of the Shirky deal, City are sending a player out on loan. IDK. Oh, could that be the deal? I don't know. But so in any situation, you send him out on loan, and one of two things is going to happen, probably based on the talent that he is. Of course, he might be shit. Yeah, Diaz, that might be the worst comment I've ever seen in my career as a human. Well done, educated. Two things are going to happen here. Either he goes out on loan and he does brilliantly well, and he does so well that he comes into City's first team, or he does fine, still does brilliantly well maybe, or just does fine, whatever, and he's not good enough to be brought into the starting 11. He just can't break in. He can't get past the players who are already there, and he has to get sold. But the chances are it's going to be a massive profit based on all the hype around him. So it's basically win-win as far as I can tell. I don't know, of course, but I suspect it's going to be one of the two. It's going to be either we sell him for like 30 to 40 million quid to like Chelsea or someone like that, or he becomes a fantastic footballer, and it's a good time for City. What do you think is going to happen with Naipan, though, guys? I don't know. All I know is the hype around him. I haven't watched a minute of him. I know what sort of player he is based on what people have told me about him, but I don't really know anything else. So I'd be interested to know what you guys think. You can like Sack him on the phone if you want, but to describe him as a luxury player is a really dumb thing to say, in my view. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I think that's a really dumb thing to say. An objectively stupid thing to say. Misspelled Messi, yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so he's good in FM. Naipan was good on he was good in the FM save, amazing. Do I think Nikoji was a panic buy? Absolutely not. No shot. Star of the future, perhaps. Yeah, exactly, Dave. You've got a lot of idiots out there. Naipan's baby Erdegaard. Is that an insult or a diss? Because you're an Arsenal fan, aren't you, Thunder Roads? Because I know a lot of people don't like Erdegaard who are Arsenal fans. So what do you think about that? Yes, I do need to shave. Thank you, Naveen. Yeah, this is maybe one of the worst comments I've ever fucking seen. Like, why can't people think before they type? Naipan's a better talent than Echeverry. Have you watched much of him, YK? I don't know anything about him, as I say. Echeverry's already been announced as the lone player. Is that true, Sam? Is that true? Naipan is Reinders 2.0. Crazy. I thought it was more of a 10, though. Someone said he was more of an 8-10. Okay, that's interesting. If the project works out, he could be the Gibbs White replacement. Okay, maybe that might be interesting. By the way, a penny for the thoughts of Morgan Gibbs White. What is happening there? What is happening there? Have we actually just like bailed and ditched on him? Is that actually what's happened? That's kind of harsh. Napam's going on loan to Girona. Okay. Yeah, exactly, Dave. People just talk for the sake of saying bullshit. Clearly, people like to peddle bullshit. Apparently, pedal a bike. Don't pedal bullshit, guys. He's not going to Girona. It might be the Lyon loan, says Joel. That would be nice. I think, yeah, and Ligue 1 is a perfect environment for a young midfielder in particular because it's going to toughen them up and make them more physical because it's a very physical league. So that would be lovely if that could happen. Something like that. Exactly, Lou. Exactly. He's going on loan. We aren't going to give an 18-year-old any game time. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I would be very confused as to that. If we like kept him in the side. Can I do an under 21 best 11? Not right now, Ollie, to be honest. Yeah, Yusuf, that's fine, mate. I think that question is really stupid. That statement is really stupid. And that's good for you. Had Pet rejected him. Who, Gibbs White? Forrest Whip asking too much. I wonder, because I didn't think it was an either or, to be honest. I still like the idea of bringing in Gibbs White. My main reservation as to why I wasn't sold on the signing initially. This is so funny. When Morgan Gibbs White was like announced as being massively linked to City, I was like not massively negative, but I was like, I don't really care. Now, I sort of want him a bit more now that we are not having him. I think it's partly because we brought in all these other midfielders. So I'm like, right, okay, that's fine. Because at the time I was concerned that it was, Gibbs White and a 10 or whatever. But now I've brought in Reinders and Shirky. I'm like, oh, add him onto it. I think that would be great. Andrew, that's outrageous. Don't want too much money. And look, he was overpriced, but we're saving loads of money elsewhere. So, you get me. What is a luxury player to me? It's a good question because it is a really it's a subjective term, isn't it? How would I describe a luxury player? Thank you for following, matey. Great question. I don't know the answer. Ding, 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 ding. Guys, we need a fucking cliche siren. He actually said the thing that we joked that idiots say. There is no way. There is no way you actually said the thing that we joke about people who don't know what they're talking about saying. There is no shot you've actually said that. You've fallen into the trap. That is crazy. And I didn't even set it. You set the trap yourself and you fell into it yourself. That's mad. That is mad. That's like a mouse setting a trap for another mouse and it ate the cheese itself. That's mental. I hope that cheese tastes nice. With that metal bit in your spleen. Anyway, back to the question. Yeah, what is a luxury player? What does that actually mean? Once again, it's subjective, so there is no dead set answer. What I would describe a luxury player as is a player where just to get sort of like I'm not saying the best out of them, because to get the best out of any player, you ideally want to build a team around them, obviously. I would say a luxury player is someone who can't function at all unless you, in its absolute entirety, build the team around getting the best out of them. If you don't do that, then they almost become a bit of a liability. For example, I would say that at what I want to think of an example. It's hard because there are because Messi was a luxury player off ball, if that makes sense. It was never really asked to do a lot of defensive work and tracking, like Mbappe as well. Neymar at PSG to a lesser extent as well. They're luxury players in that they don't do much off-ball work, but I wouldn't describe them as luxury players because they are just wonderful footballers. I don't think that's fair. So I think a luxury player is probably someone where if you don't build around them, it's almost to the detriment of the team as a whole. And it's also a player that you don't necessarily need in your squad or your starting 11, but it's a player that if everything else is perfect, then, and you're a good team, it makes total sense for you to add this sort of player. A cherry on top player, maybe, perhaps. I don't know. Again, a player who can't function unless, as I say, I'm not a detriment, essentially. Foden isn't that. If you do think he is that, then you're a fucking moron, I'm afraid to say. Messi is not that at all, even though I described the off-ball work. And with that definition, I don't think there's that many examples. I'd say maybe Özil at Arsenal was a bit of a luxury player, perhaps. I don't think there's as many examples as people think, though. I think the definition is massively overblown for people like... I think people misuse it. In the same way that I think people misuse system player. The way people use system player is that what they are doing is they are describing every single footballer known to man. That's interesting, Handel's hip. I guess maybe that is it. Is a luxury player like an old school number 10 where they weren't asked to do any work outside of getting the ball and then being that creative force? Is that... I don't know if that is a luxury player, though. I think that's too simplistic and too reductive. I'm not sure. I don't think there's as many examples as people think there are. The main one I can think of is Özil at Arsenal. I think that's a good example. I can't think of many in the modern game who are luxury players, to be honest with you. I can't think of too many. And again, system players is another term that people horrendously misuse, because people say, oh, well, a system player is a player where you have to set them up in a certain way to get the best out of them. That is literally every single footballer to have ever existed. Every single player, if you play them to the best of their abilities and you build a team around them, you will get the best out of them. If Kevin De Bruyne, from the moment he joined City, had an entire team built around him, he would have been even better for City. The team was never ever built around Kevin De Bruyne. In fact, I don't think a team's ever been built around any player under Pep apart from Messi, to be fair, and that's because Messi is Messi, so obviously you build it around him. And that's not necessarily a detriment either. Just because you need a certain style to get the best out of you doesn't mean you're a bad player. Haaland, we know, thrives in the transition and on the counter-attack. He needs chances created for him. But he's the best striker in the world. So when people try to say, Haaland's a system player, even if I'm to accept that, fine, he's the best striker in the world. I don't care. What? It's just it's a very weird tag that people who don't know what they're talking about use and assign it to players. Yeah. I think it's basically a shit term. That's why I don't really use it. But yeah. That's how I describe a luxury player. Scott Cars as a luxury player. And I know no one asked about system player, but it's just an interesting thing to touch on. Whenever people use luxury player and use system player, I don't think they actually have in their head what does that actually mean? What does that actually mean? Yeah. Yeah, again, if you think that, why cares? Think that's a stupid thing to say. But you're in the Hall of Shame for a reason. No, Trent's not an example, no. Again, I think that Trent fits into this system player thing. But once again, I think that's every single footballer. Yeah, now, yeah, if you want to get the best out of Trent, you've got to accept there'll be some defensive lapses, and you need to protect him and cover him. But so what? Like, if you do that, he's like the best fullback. He can be the best fullback in the world. It shouldn't really be used as like a dig or whatever. Like, it worked, and it won Liverpool the title in the Champions League. So it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Well, that too. I mean, the fact that people go prime. Whenever there's we're going off track here. Whenever there is ever a discussion on Özil, they will never ever not use the word prime. I think that's his first name. It's like Pogba as well. You can never have a conversation about Pogba or Özil without people having the prefix prime to his name. It's mad. I've not covered these on tickets, but it's good to know. It's good to know that it's come down by the looks of it, which is nice. Well, exactly, LA Orton FC. That's why I think it's weird. That's why I think it's odd. James Rodriguez, yeah, maybe Rodriguez is maybe a good shout. Actually, to be fair, maybe, I don't know. Exactly, it's boring, and it doesn't lead to anything either. Once again, even if I was to accept that, which I don't, because it's bollocks, and I think if you say that, I think you're an idiot personally. Even if you were to say that last season, in the 23-24 season, Foden was a system player and Foden was a luxury player. Let's even take that at face value. So, if memory serves, he won us the title and was player of the year. So even if I am to accept that premise, which I don't, BT dubs, because it's a load of horse shit, so... Oh no. You won us the title. And you got player of the year. Oh my god. What a fucking travesty to befall my football club. Well, yeah, this is the best comment of the day. I can't lie, won't lie. Can't lie, won't lie. Yeah, but again, I don't. Holland's not a luxury player. He is a striker. You get me? You get me? Teams can't afford. Yeah, and that's the thing as well. This is why whenever someone says luxury player, this is why I struggled. I can't think of anyone who's an actual luxury player, but by the truest sense of like the most sensible definition of the term. We are in an era where you can't really afford to do that. We saw it at PSG when they had Neymar and Mbappe and Messi. They couldn't afford to do that. Under Pep Guardiola, how many players are able to just walk around, offer nothing off ball, and just sort of float around in games? Sergio Aguero was dropped for Gabriel Jesus, of all players, because he wasn't offering enough off ball. Not that Aguero was ever a luxury player. I'm just using it as an example. So if anyone tries to start the conversation by talking about that, you might as well just leave, because I don't think they know what they're talking about. And I don't think it's worth actually having a conversation. Conversations are value propositions, guys. Think about it like this. Conversations are value propositions. Is it worth my time? And is this a valuable discussion? Am I going to gain something from this conversation? Am I going to be entertained? Am I going to be educated, informed? Am I going to think differently afterwards? Are you going to change my mind? What's the value from this conversation? People who say this are offering zero value to the conversation. They are the football debate equivalent of small talkers. They are the people who like awkwardly stand around at bus stops and try to get you into a conversation about the weather. You're never going to see them again. I don't care. It's like, let me put my earphones in. I don't want to engage. Anyway, so yeah. Bus wankers, I guess. That's the term. They're bus wankers. Oh, God. Anyway. What's my opinion on Israel strikes on Iran? Israel are twats. Anyway. What happens if Phone had a similar season to this one? Not saying he will. What does the club do? Well, if he's shit from now on, then you get rid of him, don't you? But the reason why I don't find this conversation interesting is because what happens to Rodri if he comes back and he's injury prone and he's always injured and he's like 40% of the player he was? Well, you get rid of him, don't you? The more likely scenario is precedent. Mbappe acts like one. Oh dear. Yusuf, you are so intelligent. Well done, my child. Holland doesn't help off ball. Don't agree. Plus one, cause yeah. Wait, it was. It's from the Inbetweeners. Different era, Tony. Different era. To be fair. In the modern era, especially under Pep Guardiola. Do you really think that if you ask Pep Guardiola, Pep, which one of your players are luxury players? Do you think that Pep Guardiola is keeping a luxury player in whatever he would define it as? Obviously not. You might as well just say passenger for a luxury player or something like that. It ain't happening. Hashtag not politics. Yeah. Shall I start like a new? Shall I start? Shall I sack off the football and start streaming politics? Shall I become a political streamer, guys? Shall we do that? I would. Well, people are saying Lyon. People are saying Lyon for Naipan because we're apparently sending someone over. I would like that. I wouldn't mind that at all. I think Ligue 1 is maybe the best league to develop talent in. I think it's the best league that talent comes from. There is a reason why France are so good. There's so many top talents coming out of France. There's a reason why we always look at their squad lists and go, oh my God, they could have like 2 or 3 different squads here. It is insane. Even like non-French players coming out of Ligue 1, absolutely insane. It is probably the best league for talent. Absolutely, it's definitely not the best league for overall competition and and fairness of competition. But in respect of like harnessing talent, then it is the one. This is why. But before we signed Cherki, I was like, I want to sign more players from Ligue 1. Cristiano's a great start. I want to sign more. I kept, I tried to push the Diakite movement, but it didn't happen. So I'm happy with signing more players from Ligue 1. Let's keep doing it. Yeah? He must be musty. He must be crazy. Favorite 29, Shawnee or Cherki? I don't think that's going to be... But that's just a temporary number, though, isn't it? Yeah. Cherki can't carry the weight of this demon. Yeah? Yeah? Oh, dear. I do. In the same way that I think that Foden will go from like a subpar season last year to back to what he's been doing since like 2019. I don't think it's going to be a problem. I don't think it's going to be a problem at all. Scott Carson's the key luxury player. Absolutely crazy. Lyon would be great. Be playing European football. Yeah, I mean, it's just exactly. That's why I'd never use the term. Yeah, big up to you, Dash. Bundesliga better. What, harnessing talent? Maybe. I instinctively, I'd suspect it's Liga, but Bundesliga's probably also up there as well, to be fair. What had loved Bundesliga for Naipan? It's great for forwards or Italy due to the excess space midfielders get. I want to bulk him up. A luxury player is someone who has incredible talent and can't change a game in a minute but has zero interest in helping the team off the ball. Yeah, I wonder, like... I definitely buy the off-ball situation. I think that's got to be... I think that's got to be the first thing, actually. If we were doing if we were trying to agree on like a bullet point list, the first thing for me is absolutely passenger off-ball. That is the start of defining what a luxury player is. Even though I still don't think there's that many out there in the wild right now, one of the first things I would say is right. Because luxury suggests that you don't actually necessarily... Because what is a luxury? A luxury... the Oxford Dictionary defines luxury as... No. A luxury is something that you don't need. It is a want, isn't it? It's like a treat. It's an excess. A luxury is, air conditioning in this country. It's nice. It's nice to have, on the 2 weeks of the year that you'd use it. But you don't need it. It's not like the heating where you do actually need it in like the winter or you are going to die or whatever. It's not like food, which you sort of need to eat or you'll die. It's not like water. So does that... That's not really what we've been talking about, though, is it? Because if a luxury is something that you don't need, does that mean that by definition they're not good? It's nice to have. It's nice to have, and if the environment is absolutely perfect, you would want it. You would rather have it than not have it. However, if you're starving, would you rather eat a massive fucking turkey and chips or a sticky toffee pudding? That's the key. That's it, guys, isn't it? A luxury is like a dessert. You don't need... I don't think you need a dessert to have like a satisfying meal if you go out. But if I'd have a starter and a main course, I've not had a good meal. Full stop. A luxury player is a dessert. And if you can afford it, and if you had your starter and you've had your main course, you've had some cocktails, and you're having a lovely time, and you can afford this lovely dinner at Dishoom, go for it. Treat yourself to a pistachio gelato. Treat yourself. But if you went into the restaurant and only ordered a pistachio gelato, what are you playing at? You're going to be starving. You're going to be hungry. So there we go, guys. We've absolutely established what a luxury signing is. A luxury player. There we go. But yeah, if we're turning it to the football world, the first bullet point has got to be, are you a passenger off ball? Do you basically walk around doing nothing off the ball? Are you contributing to the press? Are you helping to lead the press? Are you actually engaging your opponent? I think if you aren't, then you probably tick the first box of what a luxury player is. And you better believe that those players do not exist at Manchester City under Pep Guardiola. It ain't happening. If he can get Aguero and Mahrez to press like bastards, it's a thing. He doesn't accept that. We know that. Thing it would take for Christmas for Godfrey to get back to his best. Yeah, there's no rush. There's no rush, of course. I think a partnership of like Nico and Reinders, for example, that might be where City start the season, perhaps. Maybe if you don't want to go all in for it, you get me. Got over 300 people watching, by the way. But I want 200 likes, so come on. 200 likes, guys. Come on now. It's good. Yeah, to be fair, Leon are in a bit of a shambles. I agree, Stefan. Preaching to the converted. For me, a luxury player is someone who can only have when you have a top team. And I think that does... That is... Well, yeah, to be fair, that does match with what we've just said there, to be fair, because, once again, if you're starving, hungry, you can't afford a dessert, because why would you invest money into the dessert? This was like... I'm not saying Wirtz is a luxury player. However, what I am saying is that based on the issue City had before the summer, the fact that the key focus was on a player like Wirtz, to me, that was a cherry on top signing and a luxury signing given the context of City's squad. Because City did not have any chips on their plate, or Yorkshire puddings, or roast beef, and you're trying to serve me cranberry sauce. What am I putting this fucking sauce on my empty plate, which has got a couple Brussels sprouts on it and some mouldy cabbage? I had some meat and veg, first of all. So within that context, that could have been defined as a luxury signing. If you sign a player you don't need, technically, doesn't make him a luxury player, but in the context, it would have made him a luxury signing. I do take that point. Ryan, yes. I did not see Rico in training, no. Exactly. If you're starving, you need a Rodri, absolutely. Exactly. Luxury plays only good when things are going well. Maybe that's another feature we can add. Perhaps. So they never bail their team out. Perhaps. Maybe. Perhaps. Luxury plays me and Toby, you are a weapon. Calm down, mate. I do like sorbet, yes. Respect the dessert analogy. Yes, respect it. You get me. Yeah, we need a big rebuild. Absolutely. Yeah, respect the dinner dessert analogy. Respect it. I've not seen Rico's new trim, no. Maybe Dash, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I wouldn't be comfortable saying that. I don't know. But yeah, that is a thing. And this is why, like, going back to the original thing from we had a couple of cretins in here earlier. That's why that Phil is not a luxury player, because there were many games in 23-24 when we were playing like dog shit, and a certain someone saved us numerous times. Not just that season, by the way. Many seasons prior. Maybe the best example of that is the Everton game, the infamous hand of Rod game moment. I'd be interested to know who scored the winner in that must-win game. I'd be very interested to know that. If anyone can please fact-check that for me, that'd be great. In that, in that must-win game where Liverpool were breathing down our necks and we absolutely had to win the game. I wonder who it was that saved City that day. But if you guys can let me know, I'd be really interested to know that. The Afro's gone. Right, we'll sell him. That's it. Call the season off. Not interested. The citizen, yeah, maybe they all are. I'll have a look after Muster, yeah. Where is Lewis's future in the team? As a squad option, I think he can be an option at right back. I think he can be an option in midfield. I think that's what he is. I don't think he's ever going to be good enough to start for City consistently. I think he's similar to Nico O'Reilly. I don't think he's ever going to be like a Foden, where he's playing consistently for the first team and is a starter. But that's not necessarily a problem. So I guess it's up to him. Would he rather be a squad player in and you get some starts for the club that he loves and he's been at since he's like 5 years old, or do you go to a lesser side and start week in, week out? I think if I were him, I'd do the former, because it's not like he's sitting rotting on the bench. He's still going to get a good amount of minutes because he's versatile. We know he can play at right back, he can play at left back, he mainly plays in the midfield. So just squad option, I think. That's what we're looking for with Rico. Toby, mate, what we doing? What would be your Club World Cup lineup against European opposition, says Macalo. I'd like to run the sides that we did. We had like a stream a couple weeks ago, or last week, whenever it was, and it was like, new signings, new systems, something like that. I'd like to run that, see what we do there. But it depends on fitness and availability, doesn't it? This is, to me, not an important... I know it is to the club or whatever, but I don't want... I'm not going to risk injury for the sake of this competition. So if there's even an inkling that a player like Rodri or Foden's injuries or whatever can get aggravated, I'm not interested in playing them at all. So it depends on that. They've got to be fully fit and not liable to getting injured. Scott Carson. This Simon guy, man. Good point, Razad. Good point. If we win the Club World Cup and get 125 mil, we do cash on Pedro Porro. What a very specific name. I hope Wesley's not on. I'm not interested in him. He takes up a non-homegrown slot, and he's average. I'd rather just keep Nunes at that point and just firm him as a right back. Will some kids go? I hope we get a good sell on for them. Yeah, or a buyback as well. Buybacks are always the best, because if they do well, it's the thing. But we can't risk Rodri for if there is even a chance that we aggravate Rodri's injury, he shouldn't be starting that many games. That can't happen. We can't make it. He's just come from a fucking ACL and MCL injury, is it? We can't be aggravating it. Yeah? I get it's a lot of money, but I'd rather win a bit of money. Because you still get a lot of money for taking part and getting out of the groups, I assume. I don't know what the exact numbers are, but isn't it something insane? Like, you get 10 million or 40 million quid or some bullshit just from taking part. Have we talked about Walker? I haven't, no. Shall we, guys? Shall we talk about Walker? Shall we talk about Walker? Shall we talk about Walker? He said some stupid shit. Yeah, what was he actually said? He said something like, I don't want to misquote him, so please correct me if I'm wrong here. Definitely Simon. Did he say that he would trade one of his league titles with City to win the Europa League with Spurs? Is that what he said? Someone confirm. Now, even if you believe that, and even if that's your genuine opinion, why are you saying that? Why are you saying that in an interview that you know is going to get clipped up to absolute fuck? Particularly considering that you were the captain of this club that you would trade a title for at the start of the season. Considering that, and also, like, we know that Walker knows what's been said about him this season because he reacted to it, didn't he? He said totally unacceptable or whatever when someone went too far. So he does read this stuff, so he knows that we think he's been horrendous this year. Why? Why would you do that? It's like he's nothing between the ears. Yeah, he's got like I was going to say he's got no awareness, but he must have awareness. He must know that. And totally, there's nothing wrong with that. But lots of people were being fair with the criticism. In fact, I remember not last season, the season before, when we went to the Club World Cup, and he said something like, "Oh, you know, lots of people are talking a lot of stuff about me, but I think I'm still playing fine." Something like that. Mate, you're costing us goal after goal after goal. What are you chatting? What are you talking about? Wait, and he specified the Centurion season. The best Premier League side to ever exist. What's he doing? This guy. Yeah, so I don't know what he's playing at. I don't get it. He's not a captain, clearly. He just needs to shut up. Oh, sorry, if you Dan Mussey, you misquoted him. That's crazy. What did he actually say then? Well, either way, even if it's just one, the formidable season. What, were those 4 trophies not enough? Leading into a fucking... What's it? Oh, no, never mind. We didn't win the title after. That was also a record-breaking year. No one's ever done that before. Winning the league and the FA Cup and the Community Shield and the League Cup. And, like, in one of the best title races ever in the Premier League. What's he doing? What's his problem? Why would you say that? And again, even if you believe that, just keep it in there. You don't have to say it, because you know you're going to get dragged through the shit of social media, and rightly so for saying shit like that. I don't know what you're playing at. It's weird. I don't know, especially because, oh wait, am I misremembering? Didn't Spurs fans at the start of his City career, didn't they boo him? Have I got that wrong? I feel like they booed him in his first couple of seasons. I think they mellowed out a little bit. I'm pretty sure in his first year he got booed heavily by Spurs fans, or they hated him or some bullshit. I can't recall the exact details. That's mad. Yeah, why has he got a podcast as well? Like, what's going on? Isn't this something you do after you retire? Or like after, I mean, I was going to say after you're washed, but... yeah. I don't know. It's a shame because I'm not going to change my mind that he is the greatest right back in Premier League history. I'm not changing my mind there because for a decade, he was ridiculous. And that includes his Spurs seasons as well. I think he peaked for City from sort of like, 2017 through to 2023-ish. I think those were his best years. But why are you having a go? Why are you basically dissing the club that still currently employs you, by the way? Still employs you. I don't know. It's like he's playing with fire. I don't think it's a case of, there's not much in it. I think there is. Yeah, that's stupid. I think he's an idiot. For saying that, to be honest with you. That's a stupid thing to say. You can't say that. You can't say that and expect people to not think that you're a moron. Yeah, and it's not the first time he said something weird, is it? We know there's lots of weird off-field stuff. All the comments about, don't judge me, I'm actually quite good. I mean, you're not though, are you, mate? Like, you keep costing us goals. So, yeah, it's weird. And the sooner we replace him with Livramento, the better. Livramento would never. That's my right back. Yeah, that's my right back. But he hasn't even retired, Razard. He's still fucking playing technically at the highest level. He's still playing for fucking City and AC Milan. Mad. Let's have this discussion. Is the Community Shield a trophy? I say no, but some Arsenal supporters count it. City supporters count it as part of the Formidables. So it is a trophy, technically, because, in fact, I did a video about this a few years ago. It is technically a trophy. The question becomes, do you classify it as a major trophy or not? Which I think is basically a meaningless discussion. Here's how I surmise it. It is a trophy. It is a major trophy. It cannot count towards a treble. It can't count. It can count towards an extension of the treble. So, for example, when Barcelona when they won the treble, they also won in the same year. They won the Spanish Super Cup, and they won the UEFA Super Cup, and they won the Club World Cup. And the Spanish Super Cup is the equivalent of the Community Shield. It's the same trophy. It's just not called that. If the Community Shield was called the English Super Cup, I don't think people would care that much. It's the exact same thing. That's called the sextuple. City technically did a quintuple, because sadly we didn't win the Shield that year, but we did win the Club World Cup and the UEFA Super Cup. So that was a quintuple. Bayern won the sextuple, and that includes the German Super Cup in that. So you can count it towards an extension of the treble, but that's what it is. It's an extension and it's add-ons. It is not something to flex about or say, or I'm not going to say, you can celebrate. You can be happy you win it. I was happy when we beat United on penalties. Obviously, I was upset when we lost to Arsenal on penalties. But it's one of those where you get over it after 10 minutes, if that. Yeah, as you're losing, you're like, oh, whatever. Anyway. So it's obviously the lowest pecking order, like it's way below League Cup, whatever. But it's still a trophy. And it's still technically a major trophy. But when people, because I know you're an Arsenal fan, so I'm going to talk about this. When people say Arteta's not won a trophy with this team, I think it's fair to say that, because even though technically it's not correct, we know that when we say he's not even won a trophy with this team, we know we're talking about a trophy that people actually care about, i.e. Champions League, Premier League, FA Cup, League Cup. We're talking about like one of those actual trophies. So it is a trophy for me, and it is a major trophy, but it's not something to flex about or brag about. And as I say, it's more of like a nice thing to win. Oh, this was nice that we won this. That's the way I would interpret it. How about you guys, though? Let me know. We'll be live for another 13 minutes, by the way, guys. For another 13 minutes. I don't know. Handles, hip-hop, I don't know. Did I tell you guys? I don't know if I could tell you guys the story. It's not really much of a story, but Mrs. Nobbins' granddad collects autographs and whatnot. And one time, and he's a City fan, of course, he's been a City fan since like the 60s or whatever. If you've seen the Colin Bell documentary, you would have seen him. He's called David. Big up David. He was waiting outside, waiting for signatures, and it was Walker he was waiting for. I can't recall the season, but it was basically there was a transition. Again, I don't know the exact year. There was a time where Walker was a high-flying, attacking right back. And then there was a season where he lost all his offensive work / didn't do it anymore, and he just stayed back. I can't remember when that transition happened exactly, but there was a time when it happened, and David said to Walker, why don't you overlap anymore? Why don't you push on anymore? And he said, boss doesn't want me to. I don't know if that's an interesting story, but, you know. So there was a moment where Pep decided, I'm just going to make you more of a defensive right back now. Because again, Walker, especially at Spurs, he was never a defensive right back. He was always a high-flying attacking one. This is now going to pivot me towards a brief tangent where I briefly touch on Livramento, who I really want at City, because lots of people have been saying, if you bring in Livramento, is he good enough going forwards? Totally accept that viewpoint. However, my counter to that, and I agree, Livramento is better defending than going forwards, I would say. However, he's young, he can develop. Walker joined City, and his key trait was not being a 1v1, I will lock up Neymar, Mbappe, Rodrigo right back. I'm like the best defensive right back out here. That was not what he was known for at Spurs. He was known for high-flying and attacking and getting up and supporting Aaron Lennon, for example, and all these other wingers at Spurs. Wasn't really known for his defensive work. At City, he obviously learned how to do both for a good period of time. Why can't Livramento do the same and do a reverse Walker, starting as a more defensive right back, but why can't he add that to his game? Why can't he? He already is adding it to his game to an extent. So yeah, right now he is more defensive, but why can't he add that to his game? And let's do the reverse Walker. Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent. I don't know why people are so high on Livramento with his price tag. Oh, I like him. I don't know, because that's the thing, Archel. What's the only other option really is Aina, and he's 29. He's not a long-term solution. I think the price tag is worth it because you're going to get him for 10 years. He's 22. 10 years. Even an £80 million investment, yeah, it's too much money, but if he stays for the entire length of his contract, £8 million a year based on the transfer fee. That's the way I look at it. I think it's worth that. Based on what we need as well. Based on what we need. We know we really need a homegrown option, realistically. You see. But I don't agree. Because if you score in the Community Shield, that goal goes towards your official tally. So Wayne Rooney has scored 1 goal in the Community Shield. I don't know how many goals he's scored in his career for Man United, but every single stat you go to, every single professional stat you go to, it includes that 1 goal in the Community Shield. So I don't agree. I don't agree. Again, it's not something to brag about. But it wasn't always like that. The regulations have changed. Luxury trophy. Hello, Sam. How you doing? I'm doing all right, mate. We started the stream with a couple of not rights in the chat, but I think they've now left, hopefully forever. So, but apart from that, I'm doing well, mate. How are you? Yeah, we are cooking eggs here. Big up the eggs. Big up to you, Dylan, as well. This guy. Exactly, Dylan. Yeah, you got to be versatile. And Livramento can also do the left back job. Just saying. He's better than every option we have right now, Archer. I think that's the crux. Is he better than Nunes as a right back right now? Yes, and it's not even close. So absolutely he comes in and starts. What if it's 100 million? But what if it's 70 million? I've not seen any stats saying 100 million. I've seen City apparently did a bid for 70 million according to Fabrizio, and they want a bit more. That would suggest the truth is around 80. I'd go. If Kyle Walker in 2017 is worth 50 million, with inflation and football inflation, I think Livramento's worth it. Not as good as Walker was, obviously, but I still think it's worth it. Also consider homegrown problem. Also consider right back problem. Why did I sign Sane? Hello? Sadly, he's been done since he got injured. What a shame. Oh, what a shame. Nunes is getting better. He's never going to be a great right back, though, is he? Even now, even when he plays, he can have a great game, and then he just gives away a goal or gives away a penalty. He's only ever going to be a backup right back. Isn't worth above 50 million. But he is to City, because you've got to consider everyone knows we're desperate for a right back, and we're desperate for a homegrown player. So to City, He is. And to Newcastle, he is as well. I wouldn't like to see Shirky holding width, no. He could do it, but certainly not with Akanji at right back, no. It's like Foden. He can play out at right wing, but not with Kusanov out at right back. It can't happen. It has to be someone actually flying up and supporting. Fairs, he got that bag. Fair play to him. Yeah, sadly, it was fuck Trent, by the way, because he destroyed him. Because he's the reason why I did that ACL. Bastard. In which case, we'd need another right back, though, Samir. So we'd need another one in any event. And I don't want to sell Nunes. He's a good backup. And he's versatile. Must it be a homegrown player? Right now, yes. We are officially at capacity. We are officially at capacity. Right now. And next year, 2 of our current players become non-homegrown. Savio and Kusanov. They become non-homegrown. So that's another 2 players added to that. Even if we move on all of the old players, every single one, we're still on that tightrope. And you always want some space in reserve just in case. You never want to be at the limit. This is not a situation you ever want to be in. The next few summers, we need to be looking at homegrown players. Absolutely, we do. Even if we get rid of all the old players, we need to start looking at homegrown players. And don't say I'm a Brexiteer. That's just a fact. We need to be looking to get more English players / more homegrown players. This is why when people say dumb shit, like sell O'Reilly and sell Lewis and sell Foden and sell all the academy, are you okay? Are you okay? Not only is it stupid in isolation, but are you okay? Mate, Trent just being fluent in Spanish floored me. That was so funny. I could not believe that. Just like Kovago, but he's injured. Who wants him? Who wants him? He's injured right now. We're not going to be able to move him on, are we? That's the issue. That's the issue. That's the concern. Guys, we're so close to 200 likes, by the way. Get it up here. Get it up here. This is me getting it up here. I need you to get it up me by liking it. Believe it's not homegrown, sadly. No. Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka. Hello? Hello? Einer's fine as a stopgap, but he's not a long-term option, is he? What's with this Norwegian lad? He's the new Messi. New Messi. You guys know my thoughts on Frimpong. Yeah, believe it's not homegrown. Kick him out on a free. I don't think that's how it works, Denton. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think that's how it works. Toby, mate. Why do you hate me? It's looking like Gunder's going to be going to Galatasaray. Hopefully we can send our former treble-winning captain packing with a trophy. That would be lovely, wouldn't it? And he does need to go. He does need to go. Again, I love Gundo. And if it was any other circumstance, I think that Gundogan would still thrive in the City side with Rodri in the side. And I still think he'd be a great player. We've seen it in glimpses this season. He's still a great player with the correct support around him. But right now, we've got so many other players that we need to be taking on those minutes from Gundogan. Whether it's Foden, whether it's Reinders, whether it's Nico G, whether it's Shirky, whoever. He can't be eating up these minutes now when we've got all these other players who are a lot younger than him. He's just, as I say, taking up the playtime of so many other players. And knowing Pep, he's probably going to keep playing him because we know how much he adores him, which is his prerogative. So for Pep's own good, I think we just need to get rid of him. Same with Bernardo as well. He's another one. If Pep gets the opportunity, he will play him. You need to move him on. IMO. Yeah, again, Einer is like a stopgap player. I think he's a good player. I don't think he's obviously not a long-term solution, is he? And I don't think that he is that much would be that much of an improvement on like Nunes. Not what I want anyway. Not what I want. It's obviously a lot better, but it's not big enough for what I want. He's not good enough at the age he is to justify it, if that makes sense, in my view. We'd still need to look to get a proper right-back solution in addition to that for me. Pedri is a Spanish Naipan. Love that. Everton to buy Stones. If they can, that would be lovely. That'd be lovely. The issue is a lot of the players we want to move on are not, sadly, they are homegrown, so it doesn't really help. Ben White, he's not going to leave Arsenal, so it's a moot. Yeah, exactly. He's still got it in him. He's still a good player. And again, if you had him next to Rodri, I think he'd be great. But the landscape's changed, and it's time to move on. Yeah, exactly. Not a City player anymore. That's a great summation of it, isn't it? Toby, why are you trying to rage bait me? Because I know you're smart. I know you. Why are you rage baiting? It's a good thing I know you. Livermento's the same as the Cavadio transfer. Pay the fee now. You sent that. That's the way I look at it, Dylan, as well. Yeah, that's the way I look at it. He's 22, 10 years. How long we signed Walker at 25 or maybe even older. 27 we signed him at. If he's 34 now, we've had him for 7-8 years. He must have been 27. We've had him for he was great for 6 or 7 years, and he was older. I would love it, and I think I deserve. I would love it, and I think I deserve. I disagree. I disagree. I think that he's bad at defending the wide areas in general. That based on what I saw from him at Lawn anyway. He's not naturally gifted at defending the wide areas. He's unless it's a counter-attack, he's far more comfortable centrally. I think he'd be too easily exposed out there. And also, if you play him there, then he obviously can't offer anything offensively either. Yeah, my take is I don't agree. Hey, Pedri's my boy as well. I love him. I hate you so much, Toby. I know, right? One absolute cutie. One absolute guy. What, Pabzab? Brilliant. How about adding me? Shut up, Harry. Shut up. Get out of here. I don't know if I have some here. Isn't Liverpool too slow? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Okay, guys. I'm going to shoot off. We got over 200 likes in the end, by the way. Thank you guys so much for that. A question for you all before you all leave. Do you enjoy Nobbins content? Do you like me? If you like my content and you want even more of me, I've got good news for you, because every single Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evening, English time, I'm live over on Twitch. A fair few of you have come over, which is lovely. But I'm greedy. I want more of you over there. Yeah? So click this link. It's LNobbins on Twitch. Go follow. And I will see you all on... What do you mean, nah? Guys, you're not supposed to say no. You're not supposed to... Why do you hate me? Why do you hate me? What have I done? What have I done to you? What have I done to you, J Edition? What have I done to you, Simon? What have I done to you, Peely Guy? No, wait, no, Peely Guy said yes. Yeah, J Edition and Simon. What have that random dude? What have I done to you? What have I done to you? Huh? Yeah, and Toby. Click that link. As I say, every single evening, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we are live. I want more people to come over because it's a good vibe. It's a more chilled out. We talk about football, we talk about games, we play games, etc., etc., etc. It's LNobbins on Twitch. As I say, go follow. It'll make me happy. I think we're like 4 followers away from 3,000 followers, some bullshit like that. So go. Also, new emotes are dropping soon on the channels, both channels soon. So that's exciting as well. So stay tuned for that. Also, stay tuned for the Reinders analysis video, which will drop this weekend. I told a lie. I don't know if I will now be able to do Ask Nobbins. We might just have to wait until next Monday. So apologies. I took a week off from Ask Nobbins. We're back to it next week. It's transfer season, so please forgive me. Reinders will be out this weekend, Saturday or Sunday. Not sure yet, but one of them certainly. And Shirky will be out by the end of next week. And hopefully I can get Ait Nori in as well. I'm not going to promise that. At least one by the end of next week. Maybe 2. I'm not promising it because I'm taking my time, because I'd like to take my time to make sure I'm happy with this. There we go. AAW. Just follow the Twitch. This is what everyone who's watching needs to be doing. There's still over 200 people here. This is what everyone needs to be doing. Go be an AAW with a big W and go follow the Twitch. It's LNobbins. So yeah, there won't be any live streams from me this weekend. I'll be working on the videos, but keep an eye out for the reminders. analysis video. It's going to be worth it, guys. Trust me. You know, earlier I said I've changed my mind on him. That's because I actually think he's better than I first thought. So that's good. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to catch you all next time. Yes, J Edition, exactly. So if you want to support me, it's free. Come to the Twitch streams Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evenings. LNobbins. There's the link in the chat. I'll catch you guys later. Stay tuned for Ryander's analysis.